Welcome back. A parliamentary spokeswoman says plans for a new $200 million debating chamber in Ghana have been shelved. Kate Addo told local media that there was no need for the building to go ahead for now. There has been a wave of public anger since the proposal was put forward last month. Opponents complained that the money would be better spent on public services such as health and education, as well as electricity and water supplies. Now, it has been 1 year since the leaders of Eritrea and Ethiopia signed a joint declaration of peace and friendship. An historic summit marked a start of the normalization of ties between the long-time foes. Now, citizens of both countries discussed the impact of peace on their lives when Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and President Isaias Afwerki moved swiftly to end 2 decades of hostility after signing a breakthrough agreement in Asmara on July 9, 2018.
A group of young Eritrean men are playing a heated game of football on the outskirts of the town of Mekelle in northern Ethiopia. Just a year ago, this would have been impossible because of the war that broke out between Eritrea and Ethiopia in 1998 over the border and other issues. Awet Gidi works in a small bar in Mekelle as a DJ. His mother traveled with him to Eritrea when he was just 2 years old. The war broke out while they were there, and he only got to see his father again last year.
The joy of meeting your parents after 20 years is endless. I wish this happiness to continue, but opening the border and then closing it again, it's not good. I want to go there and come back as I like.
The former bitter enemies reopened crossing points on their shared border for the first time in 20 years, cementing the stunning reconciliation. Eritrea also reopened its embassy in Ethiopia in July last year. Ethiopia reciprocated in September. Tens of thousands of Eritreans have crossed since last year. The government says they have closed the land border for security and logistical reasons, but travelers can visit either country freely by air.
The past year has been very good because many families were reunited. Some children have a father in Eritrea and a mother in Ethiopia, or vice versa. Families are especially excited to reunite after almost 30 years. They might have reasons to close the border sometimes, but I would have liked it to remain open.
Many people in Mekelle have similar stories to share that underpin the tragedy and complexity of the war. But as it is now, they are excited for the reconciliation.
A high-profile British government minister has called for the deadly Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo to be declared a global health emergency. The International Development Secretary, Rory Stewart, said the move would help to release desperately needed funds. He made the appeal during a visit to Butembo, one of the areas worst affected by the virus. More than 1,500 people have died in the eastern DR Congo since the outbreak began nearly a year ago. The World Health Organization has so far refused to recognize it as an international emergency. Now, Egypt says it will instruct a law firm in the UK to file a civil suit over the sale last week in London of a rare bust of Tutankhamen. The sculpture of the boy pharaoh was sold for about £4 million at Christie's auction, despite appeals by the Egyptian government to stop the sale. Khalid Al-Anani, the Minister of Antiquities, says that Egypt would try to reclaim the stone bust and 32 other artifacts sold by Christie's. The auction house has maintained that all necessary checks were made over the provenance of Tutankhamen sculpture, and its sale last week was legal and valid. Now, a Nigerian artist transforms scribbles into creative artwork here in Lagos. Let's meet Olarinde Ayonfeoluwa, a 22-year-old self-taught artist who makes unconventional portraits while scribbling on canvases here in Nigeria. Take a look.
Artist by major in scribble art.
Olarinde Ayonfeoluwa has found an unusual way to express herself and create art in Lagos, Nigeria.
What starts out as distorted scribbles slowly shapes into portraits, as well as cartoon and fantasy characters. Growing up, the self-described visual artist said she liked to draw cartoons, but in 2015, she discovered scribble art while attending an artist workshop.
I was really frustrated because there was so much pressure on me, so I just picked up a pen. That was the only thing I could find around me. Being that I was a pencil artist, I had to use pen to draw, so I was frustrated, and then I just started doing jaga jaga, and in my jaga jaga, I saw a face. I'm like, oh wow, then I moved on from there. So afterwards, I started building on Scribble art, I started mastering it, and then I figured that it was a better way for me to express myself.
She completed a degree in microbiology last year, but has decided to become a full-time artist instead. Ayofe Oluwa has worked on over 100 scribbled pieces in the last 2 years. A piece can take 10 minutes or 5 months to complete, depending on its complexity. The pieces sell for over 50,000 naira depending on their size. Ayofe Oluwa says she also takes part in exhibitions whenever possible to help market her artwork and educate people about the art form. Apart from portraits, her work also highlights social challenges Nigerians face. Her Up Nepa series is a satirical collection about the regular power cuts experienced in Nigeria. She is currently working on a series known as Funk Collection that celebrates the music genre that was popular in the 1960s and 70s.
I also do doodle art, where I just use patterns, tiny patterns to form an artwork.
The artist also mentors aspiring artists through her Charity with Arts platform, which teaches art in communities for free. Olarinde says she wants to tap talent and push more children and youth to discover unique ways of expressing themselves.
Very talented. Now in Tunisia, the tourism industry attracts around 8 million arrivals per year, making it one of the most tourist-friendly countries in Africa. Despite the recent attacks on the capital, Tunis, tourists and beachgoers are still flocking to several Tunisian resort cities to have a good time.
Beachgoers lounge at Tunisia's coastal resort of Hammamet and elsewhere in the country just days after a series of attacks targeted police forces in the capital. The recent attacks in the area, however, does not discourage them from enjoying their summer vacations in the country. At the coastal resort of Hammamet, tens of tourists enjoy the beach while security personnel guard the area.
Here in Alhambra Hotel, we haven't felt it. We haven't had any cancellations. On the contrary, the demand is increasing day by day. We have requests from our tour operator partners for additional reservations. So I don't think there has been a negative impact after the recent events. Tourists are welcome, they're always safe in Tunisia, and we're working on giving them great holidays.
There was huge progress in this country, and many efforts undertaken by security, despite what people might say. I will tell you one more thing. Today, we feel safer here than we do in France, for example.
On Wednesday, July the 3rd, a wanted militant wearing an explosive belt blew himself up in the Tunisian capital after being surrounded by the police. The third of such incident within a week comes months ahead of an election and at the peak of a tourist season in which Tunisia is hoping for a record number of visitors. Two suicide bombers blew themselves up in separate attacks on police in Tunis last week, killing one police officer and wounding several people. The Islamic State militant group claimed responsibility for both attacks. Tunisia has been battling militant groups operating in remote areas near the border with Algeria since an uprising overthrew autocratic leader Zine Abidine Ben Ali in 2011. High unemployment also sparked unrest in recent years.
Well, that's the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Teniola Jobowale. Bye for now.